Hello my friends. Here's today's harvest of shiitake mushrooms, and I picked today 2¼ pounds. This is off of the logs that I inoculated, and I only picked the bigger ones, picked a few small ones, but I left a lot of the real little ones that were in caps. So we'll see what they produce tomorrow. And this is going to be some really good eats. So I think I'm going to get so many that I'm going to have to start dehydrating. But I think this batch I'm going to cook them all, and that'll give me a couple meals. Look how nice these are. And the size, I don't know how many days it took these to get that size, because I haven't been down to that area in the woods for about a week. So I'm assuming this is only a couple days old, because we just had some heavy rains and a little cool at night. What I have here is fresh picked shiitake mushrooms right out of the woods. These came from logs that I had inoculated, and this is probably 1 day's growth. There's a bunch of little ones ready to poke up, and what I'm going to do is show you what I use these for, well, other than eating. First of all, a lot of people discard the stems. They're a little tougher, and I remove the stems, and then what I do is I dehydrate them, and they still have the mushroom flavor. After I dehydrate them, I grind them up into a powder, mushroom powder, and I use that for flavoring. And you can use it in soups or just anything you're cooking as a mushroom powder. The reason that the stems are removed is they're tougher and chewier, and a lot of people don't care for that. A lot of times I just cook the stems right with it. I don't mind it being chewier. But because I have here, this is 2¼ pounds of shiitake, and can't believe the size of these. So we need the dirt and debris. It's leaf litter from hemlock pine trees that drops on there. Okay, all the stems are removed. These I'll handle later. I'll cut them open, cut them in half, dehydrate them, and then grind them into a powder. Okay, now these, you can dehydrate shiitake, but I'm going to cook all these fresh. And this is a lot to eat for one sitting. This would make about 3 to 4 servings. And what you want to do is take the shiitake, gills down, and then cut it into slices. And you can see right there. When you clean the mushrooms, just like any of the other mushrooms, you should probably just take a type of a brush and just brush them off. If you run these under water, mushrooms have a tendency to absorb water, and you'll just make them soggy. So brush them off. Here's a close-up of the shiitakes. And they have nice white gills. I'm cutting the stems open to allow them to dry better and to have smaller pieces. It makes it easier to grind them up if you have smaller chunks. And they are tougher. A lot of people just discard these. They don't play with the stems, but the stems still have a mushroom flavor. And you can use them in a soup and use them as a powder, as a mushroom powder, to flavor dishes that you're cooking. Now we'll spread these out so that there will be air that will flow around them. I'll put it in the dehydrator overnight, and this will be ground up and then added to the rest of my mushroom powder, and I'll pick shiitakes tomorrow and add the stems from those with this. If you're a mushroom lover, the recipe doesn't have to be too complicated. I start with some butter and olive oil, and what I'm going to use is some garlic. I have about 3 little cloves, and you want to saute the garlic in the oil so that it will flavor the oil. The mushroom is like a sponge, and it's going to absorb the liquids that you put in here. And if you didn't saute the garlic, you won't have the garlic flavor throughout the meal. So I'm going to saute that, and with that I have 1 small onion diced up, and I'm going to cook this until it's caramelized. Okay, the onions are translucent, so they're just starting to caramelize, and at this point I want to add my shiitake mushrooms. And we're going to cook these about 10 minutes. It's been 10 minutes. Now what you want to do is add about 1 tablespoon of water, and that will deglaze, and then cook this until the water is evaporated, about 2 minutes. And then right at the end, you want to add some salt, and I'm using some sea salt and pepper. That'll give it just a little bit of bite. Now you don't want to add the salt in the beginning because that will make the mushrooms kind of soggy. Okay, it's done. Ready to plate. Time for the taste test. Shiitake mushroom with garlic and onion. Right hot off the stove. Oh boy, is that good. That mushroom flavor with that sweet caramelized onion. Just a hint of the garlic. wonderful food. Mushrooms were picked in the woods about 30 minutes ago, and takes about 15 minutes to prepare and cook. Real quick meal, and that one little harvest, I'd probably have 3 of these meals. We'll have to see if I get enough of a surplus that I can dry them. So it would be nice to have these throughout the winter. My initial investment for inoculating the logs was about $19 for the plugs with the mycelium on it. Preparation time, probably an hour or so, and then putting them into an area that is going to be kind to the mushrooms. And I have them in the woods where it's moist. A lot of other wild mushrooms are growing there. The thing that you have to do, though, is be very patient, because that mycelium from the inoculated logs takes about a year for it to migrate throughout the log. Once it starts producing the mushrooms, it can come on very heavily. The other really nice thing is that log will be producing mushrooms for about 8 or more years. So it's a long-term investment that will reward for a long period of time. So I'm trying other mushrooms too. I have oyster mushrooms growing, and minimal care, which is the real nice thing. They're in the woods. I can forget about them until it's mushroom time. And right now it's the fall, and lots of wild edible mushrooms are sprouting, along with these that I inoculated. Well, thanks for watching, my friends. Bye-bye. Mm.